Chris Samuels, it is great to be able to welcome you back to Tuscaloosa, man. I hope you're doing great.
I'm doing great. Just got off the practice field with my high school up there, and I'm blessed, man. Doing really well.
All right, Chris, give us an update, man, because a lot of people may or may not know that you're coaching high school football. Talk about it for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, so basically I'm at a school, Northwest High School. It's in Germantown, Maryland. It's about 25 minutes from my house. Last year, I was the offensive coordinator at Churchill High School right down the street, about 15 minutes, and I transferred over. And I'm kind of a traitor a little bit because the only team that beat us last year when I was at Churchill, they beat us twice, was the school that I'm with now. So it is what it is. But I'm the offensive coordinator. We run a really complex offense, West Coast passing concepts, a lot of read option stuff, zone read, a lot of Shanahan, Sean McVay stuff, and then also, a little bit of lane kipping and some of the stuff that we did at Bama.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're certainly going to get into the topic of conversation. But, Chris, when you're sitting around with your team on the offensive side of the football, your entire team, what stories do you share about the University of Alabama?
Really, mainly good things, but I think the biggest thing that stands out is I let our guys know that I wasn't always a guy that was kind of the, stand out on the team. When I first got to Alabama, wasn't really strong in the weight room. I think I only benched 225 when I got there. Mentally, I was really weak-minded. I was a crybaby. I was redshirted my first year, but I continued to work. Coach Dubose, Coach Stallings, Danny Pierman, all those guys really rolled me, and eventually it just clicked. And once it clicked, that was it. I took off. But, that's an encouraging thing that I give, story that I give to my guys now, because I have some guys that's like freshmen and sophomores, and, they're crybabies, kind of like I was. They're not strong enough yet, but I let them know, if you continue to work, believe in yourself, and, believe in what the coaches are preaching, you'll eventually get it, and it'll click. You'll grow into your body, and you'll be a standout. So just don't quit. And at one time, I thought I was going to quit at Alabama. I remember the first day of practice, 2 days, I think I lost like 13 or 14 pounds. And I called my mom, and I told her, listen, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it here. I might be coming home soon. She said, look, you can quit, but you ain't coming back here. So I had nowhere to turn but the University of Alabama, and they made me.
Man, that is so awesome. Chris Samuels, yesterday when we get the National Football Foundation and the Hall of Fame ballot, you and EJ Jr., which we have spoken to EJ, he's also in coaching as well. Last time we checked, he was up at Delaware State, if I'm not mistaken. But EJ's a guy that was a great player at the University of Alabama. But when you see the name, your name, Chris Samuels, on the Hall of Fame ballot, kind of walk us through maybe the emotions. What goes into that?
It's crazy because I had an idea that I might be up for it and, kind of forgot about it. And all of a sudden I'm getting all of these text messages from family and friends and like, congratulations. So I'm like, all right, what's going on? So then, I found out that I was up for it or whatever. And it's really a blessing. I mean, so many great college football players that, have been inducted in. And, just for me to be amongst those guys and have an opportunity and a shot to be there right with them, it's a blessing. I've worked hard, at my craft. That's what I wanted to do for a living. And, having the opportunity to play. And I had spinal stenosis of neck that really was only about 75% good. So from time to time, I would get hit and get paralyzed. So, just to have the opportunity to play and play college ball and then go into the pros, it's a blessing. And now to be up for, such a high standard award, man, I mean, it is what it is, man. I'm truly blessed.
Chris, when you look back at the 1999 team with you, Sean Alexander, Andrew Zal, Jason McCadley, Cornelius Griffin, Miguel Merritt. I mean, I'm just going through the names that I recall. I mean, that was so special. What made that team so special in 1999?
Yeah, hold on one
No,
second.
you're fine. You're fine.
No, two cops passing by me, and I'm on my phone, so I had to duck down. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
So basically, that team, no, they passed by me now. So, but I'm telling on myself, I guess you got a lot of listeners there. But anyway,
so it's a hands-free zone. So you had to put your phone down for a second.
Yeah, you're not allowed to talk on your phones. So I'm on speakerphone anyway. So,
okay, good, good.
Sure.
I got you.
Yeah, but I'm on the highway stuck in traffic. Traffic is crazy up here. But,
I got you.
Talking back to that 99 team, man, first of all, it was a special team because the class that I came in, I think we only had like 13 scholarships, if I'm not mistaken. So, we were on probation and, we stuck it out. Some of those guys didn't get redshirted and some of us did. And, Me and Sean Alexander, Cornelius was a guy that came over from a junior college, but, we rolled it out, and we had a lot of young guys that played on that team, and we kind of raised them up. We took the bull by the horns as leaders, and they bought in. I thought our staff did an outstanding job. And, we lived on the offensive line and Sean Alexander running the ball. And all of a sudden, before you know it, you pack the box and here you go with Andrew Zell throwing it over your head to Antonio Carter or Freddie Millings or somebody. And we were just a tight-knit group, At the end of the day, we didn't have all of the scholarship players that a lot of other schools had, but, we made it happen and we had a great season. I truly believe if we had redshirted Fernando Bryant, Kelvin Stigler, Steve Stanley, a lot of those guys that came in with us, I feel like that gets us over the hump with veteran leadership to win a national championship.
Man, that's a lot of fun to be able to reflect on those wonderful days. When you're looking at a left tackle, what is the number one characteristic that a left tackle must possess to be a quality left tackle?
I think, he has to be an athlete at the end of the day. And if he's not a great athlete with, highly quick twitch footwork, then he needs to be a technician. But if you can put the technique side along with a good athlete and they're smart and they're tough, then you have a special guy.
Man, I love these left tackles in Tuscaloosa. And, I look at the guy down here in Tuscaloosa, Alex Leatherwood. I look at him and he's that prototypical left tackle when you see him. And sure, he needs to continue to work. But, when you look at Alex Leatherwood, it's like a trend that I guess started even prior to your days, that left tackle has just always been a dominant position here in Tuscaloosa. We love those offensive linemen. Left tackle gets the pressure off the quarterback.
Yeah, it's true. Coach Saban's done such an outstanding job of bringing quality offensive linemen in. The best of the best, in my opinion. It kind of started back in my day. Coach Callaway, once he came in and took over, he really elevated my game to the next level of just teaching me technique, being hard on me, teaching me how to understand the structure of the defense, what we're looking for, how we're going to block it, different things of that nature. It started off with me probably winning an Outland Trophy. Then next thing you know, you got Andre Smith. Now he wins it. And then so on and so on, Barrett Jones and all of those guys. And, before I got there, a lot of people really didn't turn to Alabama as, being a staple for offensive linemen coming out. But now, the college, the pro scouts, the first place they're going to look is going to Tuscaloosa for the best line.
And, Chris, I was just reading, you did not allow a quarterback pressure, not a sack, but a quarterback pressure in 1999. He was a consensus All-American. He's up for the Hall of Fame ballot, the College Football Hall of Fame. Chris, what makes Nick Saban so successful? You've been inside that. You've worked inside that building. Why is he so successful?
Well, let me go back a little bit. Actually, and you might have said it. I don't know if I heard you correctly, but my junior and senior year, no pressures, no sack. Not too my horn, but it is what it is.
Man, I did not see the 98 stat. I just saw the 99, so that's impressive. Back-to-back seasons. I got to make sure I say that.
Yeah, no problem. But working under Coach Saban, once I retired, I worked under Shanahan with the Redskins his first year there. Then I went to help Kelvin Stigler, who played safety at Alabama. That's the defensive coordinator at Jacksonville State now. We actually grew up together, played ball from Little League all the way up. And, when I went back to school to work up under Coach, I coached with Kelvin down at Blount High School in Mobile the year after I quit interning with the Redskins. Then I met Coach Saban. He asked me, did I want to come on board and do something with him? And I was like, of course. I went back to school, finished my degree, student coach for 2 years under Saban, and also player development role before I let that position go and came back home to Virginia to coach high school football. But with Coach Saban, man, he's the best of the best. I've been around a lot of coaches, especially playing with the Redskins. My first year had Noah Turner, Marty Schottenheimer, Spurrier for 2 years, Joe Gibbs for 4 years, and then rolling into Jim Zorn for 2 years. But definitely a workaholic, disciplinarian, the best of the best when it comes to the schematic side of it, and just delegating, on what to do, giving everybody their job and they understand their job well and holding them to a high standard to do what they're supposed to do. And Coach Saban's a good man. He gives a lot of guys opportunities. A lot of coordinators come from him, head coaches. He treated me great. And, I was just honored to be around him and learn how to do things. And I think that's why I'm a successful high school coordinator now, is just kind of learning the structure as far as being organized and, laying out the format. And he always talks about the process. He has the process in place. It's proven to be successful. He's not going to win every game, but he's going to win at least 95% of them. And he does an outstanding job, and he's a great coach and great mentor and great leader.
Hey, Chris, can you take a minute here and let me ask you about Quinnen Williams, because you would have a chance to go up against a guy like Quinnen Williams. I know you're on the outside, he's on the inside, but you celebrate players like that who stay patient. He had 164 snaps going into last year. He wins the Outland Trophy that you also won. But looking at Quinnen Williams, what do you see in this young man as he makes the transition from college to the National Football League?
Yeah, first of all, when I watch his interviews and just kind of get to know his story, I think he's a very humble young man. And, I know it's one thing that my mom always taught me, stay humble and the good Lord will take care of you and bless you. And I think that's the number one thing that stands out as far as just his personality. But he's an explosive guy. I mean, he dominates. I mean, he's quick twitch. He's a big man that can move. And anytime you put those together in a guy that understands his job, understands how to do it well, he's smart, he's tough, he's going to be successful.
Hey, Chris, final thing, as we look at this 2019 offensive lineman, you'll like this, I think. I was averaging up the offensive lineman just a couple of days ago. We're 328 across the front. Any hints of what Nick Saban might do with an average of 328 across the front?
Come downhill and run the football.
Run it, and run it again.
And let the big boys eat. As simple as that.
Hey, I guess, is there any better feeling as an offensive lineman when you're running the football and they can't do anything about it?
Yeah, it's a good deal. I don't mind pass protecting, but, from a standpoint of, when you're a defensive lineman versus an offensive lineman, say things throw the ball 45 times a game. All right, and 44 of those pass plays, the offensive lineman does his job, no sacks. That defensive lineman gets one sack. All right, out of those 45 snaps, he gets one sack, and he had a good game. Now, with an offensive lineman, so you already have your back against the wall. If you give up one sack out of all of those plays, it's a bad game technically, the way people, stat it up. But anytime you're running a football, you're coming off the ball and you're humming, you're knocking the guy off, and you're just kind of demoralizing the defensive line. And, at the end of the day, when you're coming off and you're getting 5 yards, 5 yards, 5 yards, 6 yards, 7 yards, 12 yards, by the fourth quarter or the middle of the third quarter, those are 80-yard runs, and offensive linemen love that. And then you don't get beat for a sack, so it really helps out.
Hey, Chris, listen, from all of us in Tuscaloosa, man, congrats. We're certainly going to advocate to get all the votes that it needs to get in the College Football Hall of Fame. Certainly you're a very deserving player, 6-time Pro Bowler, selection for the Washington Redskins, University of Alabama consensus All-American, Outland Trophy winner as the nation's best college interior lineman, a semifinalist for the Lombardi Award, as he talked about 1988 and 1999. No quarterback sacks or quarterback hurries. It's an impressive accomplishment at the University of Alabama. Chris, thank you again, and congrats from all of us here in Tuscaloosa, man. We'll celebrate the success with you, man. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, and roll tide.
Roll Tide.